Hi everyone, welcome back to Crochet Rocks. I'm going to show you how to make this neck warmer. My daughter-in-law Gemma asked me to make it so that she could pull it up like this when she's at work because it gets cold there. So there's still enough left around this part to cover the neck at the same time. So I'm going to show you how to do that, and just bear with me while I switch it all around. So here we are, this is it, and it's made to be stretchy, and the bottom too. It does pull up a slight bit at the bottom, but that's not such a problem. It's kind of where it goes onto your neck, so it will push it up a little bit anyway, but it's got a nice stretchy edge. And you can make it as tall as you want, so if you didn't really want to pull it up that high, you can make it a little shorter. But I'm going to show you how to do that. Just bear with me a second while I get my glasses and all my stuff together. Okay, so if some of you may remember this, the phone case that I made, it's almost identical. So you could, if you wanted to, make it out of the same yarn and have it matching. But I'll pop a little card and a link to make this. If you want to. So I've already done that tutorial. So for this particular tutorial, I'm going to be using this really gorgeous ice yarn. It's part of the Magic Glitz range. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the colour name, because sometimes on this part of the bag it will, but all it says is Magic Glitz. That might be the colour's number if you wanted to see that. But unfortunately this time it didn't tell us. But the one that I actually wanted when I made the order was out of stock, and this one caught my eye, and actually really glad I ordered it because it's beautiful. It's a 3 weight, so in the UK we would call that a DK weight. It's lovely and soft. It's 95% acrylic and 5% Lurex, and I'm going to be using a 4mm crochet hook. Now I received these as Happy Mail. This is a Susan Bates hook, and I'm going to be using this. I did use it for the other one, so I've had a little bit of a start with it already. But this is, as I say, a 4mm. You're also going to need a pair of scissors and a crochet hook. I'm just going to get some yarn from the ball, but usually sometimes you can go up a size with your hook, but I don't think this is particularly fat yarn, if you know what I mean. It's a quite a thin DK. So I'm going to leave a nice generous tail, because the way we make this, there will be a little tiny join, and it is a very small join, but rather than end up having to attach more yarn for it, we might as well have a long enough tail to do it. But it's only a small little join, but just you leave a nice tail, and then you can do it with that. So you just need to make a slip knot, and you can do that however you like. I always make mine that way. And we're going to do 2 chains. So this yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through. Now this is made with a foundation treble crochet, and that's a UK term. It's a foundation double crochet in the US, and the reason we're going to do that is because it's nice and stretchy, so it will go over the head easy. So what we're going to do is we're going to yarn over, and we're going to go into the first chain that we created, and we need to go through 2 loops rather than just the top one. So if you have to, the first one, just fiddle it through, making sure that you get those 2 loops there. The reason we need to go through 2 loops is because if you don't, you get a nasty messy edge. So we just yarn over and pull up our loops, so we've got 3 on our hook, as we normally would with a double crochet in the US or a treble crochet in the UK. And the difference being, this time we're going to yarn over and pull through 1 of those, and I'm just going to hold on to it with my thumb. And then we've still got our 3 loops on the hook. So we yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So we've completed our treble crochet. So yarn over and go into that chain that you created without going. When you went through 1, we created a chain, and we're going to make sure again that it's into the 2 loops of that chain. Yarn over and pull through, so we've got the 3. So yarn over, pull through 1, making that chain, and then we'll complete our stitch. And that's how we do a foundation treble crochet, which is obviously UK, and a foundation double crochet for the US. And we're going to carry on doing that, and we're going to need a total of 89. So we've got a ways to go. So yarn over and into the chain that we've just created, making sure that we go through the 2 loops, which is here, and yarn over and pull through just 1 of them. Hold on to that, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2, and we're just going to carry on making these and taking care to go through those 2 loops on our chain. It really does make a horrible bulge if you don't. It's kind of like a baggy bulge, if you know what I mean, a bulgy stitch. So we just carry on making our foundation treble crochets until we've got 89. And you might have to, once you've done quite a few, stop and count them. That's probably how I do it. I don't really count as I'm going. It's too many, and I'd lose count. So it's simple as that. I'm going to pause the video now, and I will come back to you once we have the right amount. So that's 89. Okay, so here we are. I have my 89, and what we're going to do now is we're going to hold, whoops, easier said than done, huh? So we're going to hold on to this, and we're going to make sure that we don't have any twists, and we're going to bring it around. So we've got, oops, getting completely confused with my tails. So it will kind of go like this, so that we've not got any kinks in it. And we're going to slip stitch into the top chain. Let me just zoom in a tad if I can get hold of it. So there's our 2 chains from the start, and we're going to slip stitch into this top one. Just going to push our hook in, yarn over, and go through both of those. So we've slip stitched. Oh, actually, it does help if you use the right end, doesn't it? That was my boo-boo for the day. That was my tail, because it was a substantial tail. Can't believe I did that. Well, I was just doing that to see if you were asleep or not. So take 2. We're going to go into the top of our 2 chain. So there's the first one, and there is the second one. I'm just going to push our, can't believe that happened. Well, that'll be an outtake if I'm edited. So we're just going to slip stitch and join that together. So this is the little gap that I told you about at the beginning that we have to close up with this long tail. So now we're just going to chain 1, and we're going to do front post treble crochets. That's obviously a UK term. It's a front post double crochet in the US. So if you look, these are our 2 chain here, just here, and right at the side of it is our first stitch. And how we do that, we yarn over and we go into the side of the stitch between the 2 chain and that 1 stitch there, and we come out the other side, and we're going to yarn over and pull through it. So we've got 3 on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. I'm going to do that into the next one. Just ignore that tail. Gets in the way sometimes, doesn't it? So we're going to yarn over. We're going to go into the side of the next stitch, back through the other side. So the whole stitch is on our hook. Yarn over and pull through. So we're going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And we're going to do this in every stitch along. So there's our last one. We're going to go into the stitch at the side and back around the back of it. And we're going to yarn over, pull it through, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. And we're just going to keep doing that. That's basically all of our stitches. That's what we're going to do for every stitch. So we're into here, then into between the last one and the next one, round the back and through, and repeat over again. In there, out the other side. Now in subsequent rounds it gets a little bit easier to hold it and to get through it, because I always hold mine on the side like this, and then I can easily just slide through. But the first rounds are not as easy to do that. And that's all we're going to do. We're going to go yarn over, round the stitch, and complete our treble crochet that way. And this is what they look like, and we're creating these little ridges at the back. So if I get you the one that I have made and I show you the inside, you will just get these little ridges on that side, and then we get the rib on the other side. So we're just going to carry on doing this in every stitch, and I'll show you a couple more. So you're going to go in between the stitch, round the back and back through, yarn over and pull it through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over. There's the stitch we've just done. So we're going to go into the next one, go round it, pull the yarn through it, through 2, through 2. Of course it doesn't help that I've got a purple part of the yarn with a purple crochet hook now, so it would be easier to see if it was a totally different colour. So that's it. Now I'm going to pause the video and go in each one of these all the way along until I get to this starting point, and then I will come back to you and show you how we get through there. Okay, so I'm almost back at the start. Just sorry, it's because I'm a little bit zoomed in. It's easy to misjudge where the camera is. So I'm almost back. That's my last proper stitch. So now looking at it, we've got this very end one and the 2 chain that we started with. So I'm going to go round that last stitch just the same way as I would if it were any other, and then I'm going to go around those 2 chain to put it together. Now that will look odd when you look at it. It's kind of made this curve, but that will pull itself out. I'm just going to get some yarn out for this next bit. That will look okay. Don't worry about that, it will even out. So now we are back at the start, and instead of slip stitching or doing any chain or anything, we're just going to carry on. We're just going to carry on as we were before. Now incidentally, remember I showed you this mobile case. If you wanted to practice this stitch but on something smaller before you did this, you could by all means do this first, and that will get you used to all of the elements that are in this. But if you feel confident enough, and I'm sure you can cope with it, Smooth that tail, it got in the way once before. So what we do now is we just carry on. Now these are our stitches that we're working on now, and it's easy just to slide through them, and we just carry on working, if you like, in a spiral now, so we're not going to join it in any way. There'll be no slip stitches, no chains, just going round and round. And it's, now that we've got another row that's made, it's so much easier just to slide that through the top part and pull it up with our finger. I'll slow down just in case I'm going a bit too fast for you. It's so much easier just to find where you are now. See? You just pull it up and slide through. I always hold it on the side like this and then just move it with my finger. So basically that's all we're doing now, and as you can see it's starting to form a rib. It's not pulling tight together yet, but now you can see we've got our two ridges on the back, and I know that they're quite kind of chunky ridges at the back, but that just helps to keep you warm, really, because it does make it quite padded, which is nice on a very cold day, which we are promised this weekend. I've heard all kinds of horror stories about the storm that we are meant to be getting, so this should be perfect for a day like that, or weekend like that. I love this Magic Glitz. I just think it's really pretty. Of course all of them are, but I really, really like this one. It's got pinks and purples in it and grey, and it's got this really lovely, when it goes through the grey and then it becomes almost white with a sparkle. It's really lovely. So we're just going to carry on. I caught a little bit on with my hook then. We're going to carry on going in each one along, and then when we get to this part we're just going to zoom over it. So I'm going to pause this video and I will pick up again when we get back here, just to show you how that looks. Okay, so I'm almost back at the start again, and I'm going to show you how we just go over that. Just keep going in every stitch. It's gone to a lovely blue colour now. Excuse me, I do need a drink, but I forgot to bring one over. So that's my last stitch. If you look, it's right by the join, and then we just keep going straight into the next one, and then every row now that join gets a little bit less visible, until in the end you're going to have to, when you come to end off, you need to end by that join, so you have to kind of trace it back. I'll show you what I mean when we get further in. Now there's no hard and fast rule about how big this should be, and I just recommend that when you've reached a way in. Sorry about that, I had an interruption. So yeah, when you're what I recommend you do is when you're some way in, just pop it on. Keep trying it on until you're satisfied with it. That's all I did, because we've all got different sizes. We're all different. Some of us have got longer necks, and you know, want it maybe not so high up, and some would want it more. So I just say, well, if you just pop it over your head, you'll be able to see and feel when you're at your most happy with it. So that's it. we're just going to keep going round and round until it measures the length, or should I say the height, that you want. And any DK yarn will do. I made one of the phone cases. I did it in King Cowl Glitz, and that worked out really well. But of course you don't have to use a glitz yarn. You can use any favourite DK, and if you use perhaps a 4-weight yarn, just adjust the crochet hook size and the amount of foundation treble crochets. Obviously that's double crochet in the US, so just adjust it accordingly, so you don't want it to be too big. But the only thing I will say is if you do use thicker yarn, then the actual rib becomes chunkier, obviously, and it's not such a neat look about it. I quite like the way this rib looks in DK, and you've got to remember as well that if you do these ridges, they do make it chunkier. If you can see that they're kind of they're very textured. So if it's a thicker yarn that you're using, then it will be even thicker on the inside. So just remember that as well, which is one of the reasons that I like to do this in DK, because it's really not bulky as such, although it is a little bulky. It's it thickens up because of it. So I'm going to leave it there with you. Just go round and round and round and round until you've got the actual size that you want, and then I will come back and show you how we finish off. Okay, so I've now got the height that I want for mine, and what we do then is we will look to this part here, and we just need to trace that all the way up. And then, so this is our last stitch. You just trace that one stitch there. You just follow it all the way up like this, and there we are. So I've got one more full stitch to do, and then I've caught up with where I was, started. So that's my last stitch. And how we end off, believe it or not, is just to slip stitch into that stitch there. So we yarn in, hook in rather, and just slip stitch, and then we'll leave a nice generous tail for sewing in, and then I'll just do a chain, pull it down and pull it through. So that will, believe it or not, it will just blend in. But I need to show you how to close this end. So find my darning needle. It's in this case somewhere. There we are. And working on the wrong side. So I just get my yarn and thread that, which doesn't want to do that. Okay, so I've got my needle threaded, and I'm working on the wrong side, so I'm just going to stitch this two sides together, and just very simple stitches. Just pull them together. Don't have to be overly thorough, as long as it's the length of the stitch. That should be my last one. And now I just need to end off, and I do that by making one more pass through, and I normally try to keep hold of the loop, and once it's about that size I will go back through it and just pull it tight. And now I need to lose this tail, and I usually do that inside one of these ridges on the inside. And I go through it once that way and then come back on myself this way. That's it. Let's pull it through, and then I can just end off that cotton. And then I need to do the same with this one. Just sew that in. Pull, that's it. Thread on my needle. And just from the back, I kind of sew this down first, so it loses that little bobble. And then I just sew it through exactly the same as before, inside one of these ridges, going all the way along. And turn it round and go back the other way. And as I've got quite a long tail this time, go back that way. I'm going to go back again this way because I have quite a large tail. So just go through, pull my needle out and snip off. That's it. So now we're done, and here we are. It has rolled a little bit at the edges. Let me unzoom. That's better. So just need to, you can block it or just however you normally do it, but it does actually unroll quite easily. But when you're wearing it, it will roll up again, because this is the bottom edge and that will be where the neck is, so that will encourage it to roll back up again. It's only where this row is here and then this ridge pushes it up a little bit. But if you can either block it or not, because as I say, that's where it's going to be, where the neck will meet the chest, so it's going to come out, and it naturally does have that shape where it comes out anyway. And this is our top end. Now you can have this as the front so that you don't have that little join, and if it was the same colour you wouldn't even see it. You wouldn't even see that there is a join there. So that's it basically, and it's very pretty. But as I say, you can make a matching phone case for it, and I'll pop a little link for that tutorial because I did that some time ago. But I hope you like that. If you haven't already, pop your finger on the subscribe button and the notification bell, and you'll be informed when there are new videos. I've got quite a lot of giveaways going on at the moment, so just do check that out. And thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.